You were raped. You went to tell someone. Nobody listened. Or people asked what you did to deserve it. If you didn't have a drinking or drug problem, you most likely might start. If you weren't promiscuous before, not that that should matter, you might start. You might never have a relationship, or you might have many, but each partner will be someone who you might pick on a subconscious level who won't work out, so the relationships might be brief and dysfunctional. You might not ever seek help. You might go on with your life, and then you would die, and that would be the end. Political conscious progressives such as feminists and their allies sought to raise consciousness about rape with real numbers, statistics, and studies on post-traumatic stress disorder, and then some reforms on behalf of the state were made. Those who are pro-rape and proponents of rape culture love to use the possibility of someone falsely accusing someone of rape in hopes that we would all not take rape seriously and go back to the days when rape wasn't taken seriously. We may have seen in the past 2 weeks on the internets the story of Brian Banks, who at this time is pushing for $100 for every day in the 6 years that he was jailed. Banks deserves this, as no one should be falsely accused of something they did not do, and then further be warehoused by the state's shitty mishandling of his case to begin with. I might not be completely clear as to how the case was handled, but we do know this. His accuser has admitted that she lied. According to Banks, his side of the story was that he and Juanetta Gibson made out in a secluded area of the school where others would go to hook up. Later, after their encounter, Gibson accused Banks of rape, and he was arrested same day, and the judge put a bail of $1 million on Banks. Brian was in juvenile hall for an entire year before his case came up, and he was to be tried as an adult and faced 41 years to life. He turned down plea deals that would put him in prison for 25 or 18 or to 9 years. He was 17 years old, and the choice to plead to a crime that he did not commit and receive a small sentence, or to take a chance, plead not guilty, and go behind bars for a crime he didn't commit. Because of the years spent already in juvie and after his psychological study, he was sentenced to 5 years, with the first year already served. He would witness stabbings, fights, even a riot, and was in fear of his own safety for the years that he was jailed. Banks lost 10 years of his life, a frightful 5 years and 2 months in prison, followed by 5 years of high custody parole. The state needs not only to compensate Banks, but should provide free psychological counseling for him for as long as he will need it. Around this whole ordeal, I would hope that they would educate him on the issue of how rape has been handled throughout history in favor of the accused, where they were often truly guilty, because the last thing we need is for this young man is to think that rape accusations will always be fake. He will hopefully be taught that he was also a victim of a racist and classist justice system that functions to jail people for profit and rarely truly cares about the process, that will seek justice for both the victim or the accused, and finally, if he is given the knowledge, he will know not to be used by pro-rape forces. The young woman Juanetta Gibson needs to have counseling as well, by talking to rape victims who have sought justice only to not get it, and in some cases have their lives made worse when they tried. She needs to know and understand not only what she did to Brian was horrendous, but the political effects that could have on the issue of rape survivors when they seek justice. The pro-rapists, however, will politically capitalize on this story, because this incident, and many like it, is what they have been waiting for years, because they want us as a society and a culture to excuse rapists in hope to nullify taking rape cases seriously. We must not fall for this fuckboyism. While Brian Banks is certainly not the first to have been accused falsely, his case should not be seen as a reason for us to reverse the small gains in raising consciousness regarding rape. This is the Garage Autonomist.